that first budget deficit was our signal that the U.S. was going to head into another weak dollar policy, however stated. But when you look at those old numbers and you compare them to the new numbers, do you see any trend change? And this doesn't even really measure how deep the issue is. And we don't think, a lot of people have thrown the deficit numbers up there. You've seen this graph 1,000 times, this one from the Concord Coalition. But our issue really is that it's a matter of political will. Everybody here votes for Congress people. They go out and make policies. And since 1900, when the federal government was 2.8% of GDP, we've increased that role to where in 2010 it was 25.4% of GDP. And if you have to attack the problem without taking GDP growth down, that's where the near impossibility comes. Now that's absolutely enormous, and our view is it has to go at least to 10% by 2025 and hopefully lower. And this is our only political portion of the speech, which is just simply, I don't care if Bush drove you into the ditch, would you please stop digging? This is exactly the situation. Again, we're politically agnostic. They all screw up the currency market, but we want a little more than change we can believe in. Now, we are a big mortgage bank at EverBank, and so we're just going to give you an example borrower. And you guys tell me, shout out if you think we ought to make this loan. Individual comes in, it's one person, single, there's no family, $250,000 W-2 income. Pretty decent income, probably a good corporate citizen. They have other assets out there. They're kind of hard to get at. They got family, and they got to work it through a family council before they can take any of them out. They got farms and houses and stuff, but they're substantial assets, so they got some real weight in their life. They've got an outstanding loan on the house they're trying to refinance. It's $1.4 million. Not unusual. Maybe a California home, maybe a South Florida home, New York. Certainly not in St. Louis. So the payments on those, just put a simple calculator, about $7,500 a month, about $90,000 a year, 36% of your income. Okay, who's going to make the loan? So that's actually not a bad loan. You get those made every day, whether you should or not. My view is everything should be 50% down. I don't think I'm going to win that argument any day soon. But this is something that would probably be on the edge of getting made. One other fact that the individual forgot to mention, they spend $370,000 a year. But they say, hey, if you make me this loan, I'm going to make you a deal. I'll spend $10,000 less. What do you think? Well, astute observers will notice that if you just multiply by 10 million, you can do that in your head, right? So a country comes in to finance its deficit. 2.5 trillion in revenue, 14 trillion in third-party debt, outstanding loan of about 14 trillion and going up. Spending of 3.7 trillion, you get in the picture here. And the proposal that is actually higher than any proposal that's out there to cut spending is $100 billion. This is what it looks like. You have the budget pie. On the left is our revenue, on the right is the deficit. And these two little things down here at the bottom are the Democratic and the Republican proposals for spending cuts. This is our problem right here. And we don't think there's the political will to change that, unfortunately. And the other fun fact when you talk about the deficit is, let's look at all the departments of government. You see a lot of press out there that says, well, we ought to cut the 50 million in spending to such and such in China. We should drop funding of this or that program for $50, $100 million. But that line's drawn for a reason, that if you eliminated every single department of government except those four, you would balance the budget. So if you're debating about the Judiciary, the National Science Foundation, the Corps of Engineers, the EPA, the Commerce Department, it's just a waste of air. We should be cutting those. I don't think those are government issues. I don't think most of the people in this room do. We should be getting out of those business, privatizing, throwing the highways to toll roads, everything along the way. But this makes the point about the volume of the issue. And if you're a politician, there's three things that you can do in terms of a deficit. One, you can reduce spending. It's real simple. There's two columns here. Two, you can increase revenue. It's called taxes. Or three, you can ignore both of those and let your currency depreciate. This is math. This is not real hard. There's 3 choices. And guess what? If you're a politician, you want to get elected, you cut spending. Everybody raise your hand, okay? Okay. How about raise taxes? Anybody in the room vote for you? I don't think so. So let's just ignore it. It's the invisible tax of a currency decline that you're going to allow to occur, and every politician will take that trade every single day.